A visit to St. Petersburg, Russia is always a cultural tour. St. Petersburg is such a treasure trove of museums, answering every possible hobby and interest. No other city in the world can boast of over 200 museums located within its boundaries or in the close suburbs. Hello everyone! Not long ago, we made a video on top 7 sites and landmarks in St. Petersburg. You will find a link in the description. Today, we are going to talk about top 7 museums on the long list of places to visit in our extraordinary city. Number 7 on our list is Peter and Paul Fortress. It is frequently referred to as the place where our city started, the birthplace of St. Petersburg. And indeed so, in the times of Peter the Great, it was the fortress that was called St. Petersburg. Its streets and squares were the first streets and squares of our city, and its builders and garrison were the first inhabitants. Today, Peter and Paul Fortress is officially the Museum of History of St. Petersburg. A visit to the territory of the fortress is free of charge. However, there are a few paid exhibitions you might choose to see. For example, Saints Apostle Peter and Paul Cathedral nowadays is the burial vault of all the Roman czars, starting from Peter the Great. Or there is a former political prison. You might like to visit Leonardo da Vinci exhibition, or medieval torture instruments, or space exploration. You choose it. We have a separate video on the fortress, and you will find a link in the description. Number 6 on our list is one museum but 2 churches. Church on the Blood that you can see behind me and St. Isaac's Cathedral are under the umbrella of St. Isaac's Cathedral Museum. Church on the Blood is the world's biggest museum of mosaics, and St. Isaac's is the 4th largest cupola structure in the world. Both churches are way more beautiful inside than outside, and both are definitely worth visiting. Number 5 on our list today is the Russian Museum. And isn't it funny that people having only 2 or 3 days in St. Petersburg tend to see West European art, skipping Russian art entirely, whereas the Russian Museum can be a real highlight of your St. Petersburg city break. The museum's fabulous collections open the door to understanding Russian mysterious soul and Russian mentality to the viewer.
This is my favorite picture, The Last Day of Pompeii by Karl Brylov. This picture shows the last hours of the ancient city that was ruined by the volcano.
Faberge Museum is our number 4. It is located in an 18th century mansion in the heart of St. Petersburg on the Fontanka River. Faberge Museum serves as a living link to the imperial history of Russia. According to the name, it possesses a collection of items by Faberge and contemporaries. In fact, it holds the world's largest collection of Faberge eggs, as well as precious enamels, boxes, silver, and other pieces by craftsmen of the House of Faberge. Number 3 on our list is Catherine Palace and Park Ensemble. Not only because the palace is so fabulously beautiful, but also it has one-of-a-kind amber room. And it will be a pity if visiting St. Petersburg and being so close to it, you will opt not to see this legendary interior. Catherine Landscaped Garden is extremely beautiful too. You might allocate a few hours just for a walk through the garden, and maybe a visit or two to one of the smaller pavilions, like the Hermitage Pavilion you can see behind me. There is a separate video we made on Catherine Gardens. You will find a link in the description. Catherine Palace is located some 24 kilometers away from St. Petersburg, so a visit to the palace with a short walk in the gardens will take about half a day. But you can opt to spend here the whole day and visit another palace located nearby, Alexander Palace, where the last Roman czars, Nicholas II and Alexander, lived. The palace has recently been opened after a long restoration. No trip to St. Petersburg is complete without a visit to the most spectacular imperial summer residence, Peterhof. Frequently compared with Versailles, Peterhof boasts of 150 fountains and 5 major cascades, the centerpiece being the Grand Cascade behind me. I suggest allocating enough time for a proper walk through Lower Park, as even in the remote nooks you will find picturesque cascades, fountains, and trick fountains that kids rave about. There are over 20 palaces, pavilions, and exhibitions in Peterhof, but first and foremost is the Grand Palace with its lavishly decorated interiors. But if you choose to focus on the gardens and have just a short inside visit to a smaller palace, Peterhof offers a wide choice: Montplaisir Palace of Peter the Great, Royal Kitchens and Bath, Marly Palace, Hermitage Pavilion, and a lot more. It goes without saying, but our number one is the world-renowned Hermitage Museum. Counting over 3 million exhibits, its fabulous collections cover different historic periods, from primitive cultures to ancient Egypt, Greece, and Rome, from medieval times and West European Old Masters to Impressionists, Post-Impressionists, and the 20th century. The Hermitage collections consist of paintings, sculpture, historic artifacts, applied art objects, you name it. No matter how long you spend here, it's never enough. No matter how often you visit, there is always something new every time you come here. I hope you enjoyed my top 7 museums choice. If you'd like to have guided tours to these museums, you are welcome to order my services. If you prefer to explore these museums on your own, I recommend you to watch my video on how to visit most popular St. Petersburg museums without stress and without wasting time in long lines for entrance tickets. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. In this case, you won't miss our new video.